Well, hello, friends. Welcome, welcome to another chartered flight. Today we are flying WindDrift 1402, departing the very famous airport in Central America, Toncontín International Airport. And we are heading to beautiful San Andrés Island in Colombia. It's gonna be a beautiful flight. Lots of stuff to talk about in reference to weather conditions, and obviously also learning about the places we're flying over, their culture, and aviation in general. So welcome on board, and today we are carrying 4 passengers. It's a private charter flight, and we are flying essentially east southeast. It's going to be our route, and we are going to be using the probably runway 02 out of Toncontín International Airport. But before we continue, let's review our dispatch information. But before we do that, hope you continue watching us grow as we do what we do here in this beautiful space in YouTube. Okay, all right. We are WindDrift 1402, flying out of Toncontín International Airport to San Andrés, Gustavo, Rojas, Pinilla Airport. And today we are flying the Epic E1000. This is our workhorse. It's a Beautiful aircraft, super fast, very versatile. We love the Epic E1000. Tail number November 44 Golf Bravo, and this aircraft has a Pratt & Whitney turboprop PT6A67A, departing at 2200 and arriving at 0014 at the terminal at 0022. Perfect. So we're gonna be covering a ground distance of 475 miles, nautical miles, and an air distance of the same. The wind would be, or I'm not sure, it might change, but theoretically it would be 147 at 2 knots. So essentially there's no any wind or anything, no headwind, no tailwind, and the temperature at 27,000 will be around 70 degrees. We're gonna be burning around 366 pounds per hour. And we're gonna be flying out of Toncontín, reaching for flight level 250 to Percy, continue to flight level 260 to Punta Cabezas, and eventually climbing up to our final altitude of 27,000. Beautiful. We have right now 1,702 pounds of fuel in the aircraft. Okay, so we are good in that regard. And now let's talk about a little bit of the takeoff and landing data. But the route, we're going to talk about the route as well, but essentially we're going to be flying the Levis 1 Delta departure procedure and arriving to San Andrés via the Faya 1 Charlie arrival. Okay. All right, takeoff data. Today departing Toncontín, runway 02, 22 degrees. The wind will be at 341 at 5 knots, QNH 1018. We have a full flight, so it's 8,000 pounds for takeoff weight using flaps 15. And our V speeds would be 70 for VR, which is, I don't think it's going to be that. I think it's going to be around 98 to 100. Okay. And the dispatcher has calculated these speeds using a little bit of a wet runway. Okay. And calm wind. All right. The runway 02 is 6,631 feet long. Okay. And again, flaps 15. These V speeds are going to change. And let's talk about San Andrés. Landing at San Andrés, runway 6. It's going to be 29 degrees. Very hot in San Andrés. And the wind would be 084 at 15, QNH 1011, and using flaps 40 for the arrival. Okay, runway 6, 7,792 feet long. So it's a pretty long runway. Awesome. Okay, and let's see, we should be using 1,607 to land if the runway is right. Otherwise, we're gonna go up to 2,236. Okay, so that's the end of the landing and takeoff data. So now let's take a look at the weather, which is very important, especially this time of the year. Okay, so overall, this is a very manageable IFR flight, but there are a few areas that deserve attention. Okay, the biggest weather concern today is embedded thunderstorms. over portions of Central America. There is a SIGMET active, you can see here. Okay, and this SIGMET is showing thunderstorms with tops reaching flight level 500, 50,000. Okay, we have some of the embedded thunderstorms here, right? A 1930 Zulu. So this is something that we need to keep an eye on it, right? So the sails are moving slowly, okay? Just 5 knots to the northeast, okay? So we need to keep an eye on it. We should remain south of the most significant activity, but again, taking a look at the weather throughout the flight, very important. Now, there are also volcanic ash SIGMETs here. It's also pretty cool, very interesting. We have, let's see, Santa Maria volcano, and the other one is called Fuego, right? Just this one. Very good. All right, so we need to keep an eye on that. You know, fortunately, these ash clouds remain well west of our departure and do not affect today's route. So, but again, very important to take a look at that, right? Like for instance, for Santa Maria volcano, it's up to 14,000, right? Same thing from surface to 14,000 for the Fuego volcano. It's funny that a volcano is called Fuego, which in Spanish means fire. Love that name. Okay, now let's see departing Toncontín. We have winds 340 at 5 knots, which is great visibility, 8 kilometers, right? We have light showers in the vicinity, okay? Few clouds at 800 feet, broken clouds at 2,600, temperature 23, 2.19, it's kind of close, so we're gonna see some kind of moisture there, and QNH 1018, right? Which is pretty much 3006. All right, so conditions are stable at the moment, okay? Now, during our departure window, however, right, this forecast includes the following, friends. So we have temporary thunderstorms with rain showers, okay? And then we have visibility reduced to around 5 kilometers. Cumulonimbus development also. But later overnight, it will improve with lighter winds and eventually no significant weather. So by the time this gets better, we're gonna be way out of Toncontín Airport. Now, very important, we should expect the possibility of rain and convective activity during the departure, okay? But again, we're flying the Epic E1000 and this is nothing outside the aircraft's capabilities, right? So as long as we remain clear of developing sails, we should be perfectly okay. Now, en route, we are cruising at flight level 250, stepping to flight level 260, and finally flight level 270, right? So the good news is that the winds aloft are remarkably light, so we're not gonna have any headwind that is going to delay or extend our flight time. Okay, so arrival at San Andrés, let's see. So we see we have wind 070 at 10 knots. Okay, visibility is greater than 10 kilometers. Scattered clouds around 3,000. Temperature 29, 2.25. Again, very close. And altimeter 1011, then 11. Okay, now for our expected arrival time, the forecast introduces a period of temporary thunderstorms here. Okay, so it's gonna be interesting arrival. with broken cumulonimbus around 1,500. Very nice. Very nice. Now let's talk about our alternate. Toncontín International. This is in Panama. Okay, so currently Panama remains a solid alternate. You can see conditions are light winds, good visibility. Yep, and only scattered clouds, cumulus actually, scattered cumulus. There's only about 30% probability of showers or thunderstorms later in the evening. So I think it's a good choice. I'm glad that the dispatcher has chosen this airport. It's pretty cool. All right, so today's flight is expected to be a smooth 2-hour crossing, and the main items to watch for will be possible thunderstorms near departure from Tegucigalpa and embedded convection over parts of Central America, remaining mostly away from our planned route. Excellent. There you have it, friends. Let's take a look at our charts real quick so we can understand what we're going to be doing. Departing runway 02, we're going to be doing the Libby's 1 Delta departure, and most likely we are going to be going to position Tango Golf 007, continue to Tango Golf 006, passing at 7,000, continue climbing to 8,600 to Tango 030, continue climbing to 11,000 or more, crossing Tango 002, and then we're gonna make a right turn on course 070 for about 11 miles and reaching Tango's Golf 003 at 13,200 or more. And then we're gonna continue to Alpha, and most likely from Alpha we're just gonna join the airway and continue with our route. We're not gonna go to Libby's because it will be coming back again. Which is from Alpha, we're just gonna join the airway and then we'll take it from there. Beautiful. So today we are located very close to runway 02, so it's gonna be a very short taxi. Unfortunately, there is no VATSIM at this time, and I've tried Stay Intentions AI and I don't like it. It's a good idea, and I hope they get better. I bought a 6-month subscription and I used it for 2 months, and I don't like it. They don't really. I'm not sure, since WindDrift operations are mostly in Central America and South America. I'm not sure if they have put a lot of work in those areas. I was doing a flight a couple months. I was doing a flight out of Cusco, Peru, and actually into Cusco, Peru, and not good. They were giving us vectors directly to a mountain, and I actually had to cancel that and make it VFR. So it wasn't really realistic, and I like to make these flights as real as possible. And another instance, we went to Pasto in Colombia, and it was the same thing. So it wasn't really nice feeling to be vectored to a mountain. All right, this is the route. Okay, using a sky vector. So departing Toncontín International Airport in Tegucigalpa, and we're gonna go pretty much east all the way to Puerto Cabezas, and then southeast to San Andrés. Beautiful. I like it. I like it. All right. I think it's time to get going. It started raining. But It was expected, right? It was expected, guys. All right, we have GPU connected. It's time to close the door. Very good. Get inside the airplane and start the startup process. Make sure always I like to start with the right tank. Very nice. Okay, battery 1, battery 2 is on. Click on engine looking for pressure. Right now PSI is 0. We start the right fuel pump on, coming up to 22, 23 PSI. Perfect. Excellent. All right, starter generator is on. We're just gonna look for NG coming up to around 10 to 11%. Click on start. NG coming up, introducing fuel, and click on igniter and enjoy the startup process, my friends. Beacon light is on, night lights are on, and the strobe light is on. Nice. Very good. Let's go ahead and remove and disconnect the GPU. And go ahead and continue with the startup process. Avionics master is on, left fuel pump on. Fuel auto selector is on, pusher system is on, cabin pressure is on, autopilot system is on, trim system is on, and the pedestal heater is also on. Very nice. Let's check our flight controls. Green correct. Fantastic. Go to MFD and click on enter. Let's go ahead and tune the 80s on 1277. Actually. One to 775. Then ground is 1 to 1 9. All right, like I said, we are not using air traffic controllers because VATSIM is offline. There's not much activity in Central America for VATSIM. I wish it could be more activity, but it is what it is. All right, so we contact ground. We're gonna get our clearance, and we are clear to San Andrés. Via the Libit 1 Delta departure transition Libis will maintain initial climb of 13,000. Right, so let's go ahead and 13,000 on our altimeter. Very good. Give it an MFD and select flight plan. That's our departing airport. Select our arrival airport, which is Sierra Kilo Sierra Papa San Andrés. Beautiful. And we're going to select procedure, and we're going to select the departure procedure, and it's going to be the Libit 1 Delta. I guess we're going to load that up. Very good. And we're not gonna do levies, as we said. We're gonna clear levies. And after Alpha, we are gonna continue with our flight plan, and our flight plan calls for Karak, very nice. After Karak, Percy, good. Benas, Papa Zulu Alpha, Punta Cabezas, VOR, and then we are gonna go to Fala. Beautiful. That's in Panama. And then Utnut. Beautiful. Excellent. And then we click on procedure. We're gonna select arrival. And we are gonna do the Fala 1 Charlie. To runway 6. Beautiful. Enter. Excellent. Let's just review our flight plan. I like to do that. So we're departing runway 02. We're gonna go to Tango Golf 007, Tango Golf. This is again the departure procedure. Okay, so Tango Golf 006, Tango Golf 030. Then we continue to Tango Golf 002. Then Tango Golf 003. Then we're gonna go to Alpha. Then continue to Karak, Percy, Benes, Puerto Cabezas, Fala, and destination. And then we're gonna do the arrival, Utnut to the airport. So we're gonna remove the airport, which is a double entry here. We're gonna click on clear and then enter. Very good. And there we have it, my friends. Excellent. Tegucigalpa ground, WindDrift 1402. Clear to taxi to the active for departure. Okay, so essentially we are going to taxi to runway 02 via Alpha, which is right there. Perfect. Taxi lights are on. Release the brakes, and we're gonna test the brakes left and right. Left brake is working. Right brake is working. 2 brakes, and we'll continue. It was a very short taxi. good. Still parking brake. Alright, flaps 15 for departure. We're gonna keep the igniter on until around 10,000. Alright, it's contact tower on 187. Good. And then departure would be 1335. It's Toncontín Tower. Good afternoon. WindDrift 1402, holding short runway 02 at Alpha, ready for departure. Alright, serving clear for takeoff. Taxi light is off. Landing lights are on. And continue. Beautiful. Right, nobody's landing. No one on the runway. Continue. Very nice. Right. Conditioner for forward. Prop is forward. Let's begin bringing the power up. Torque coming up. ITT coming up and stable. Bring it torque to about 40%. And release. Torque is good. ITT is stable. Airspeed alive. One. Rotate. Nice. Positive rate of climb. Tap on the brakes. Gear up. Beautiful. Continue to 3,800. And then we're going to start turning towards Tango Golf 007. 140, flaps up. Manually flying this departure. It's good to have fun every once in a while and not rely on the autopilot. Right, 6,500, continue for 7,000 for Tango 006. .5 miles from Tango Golf 006. about 7,000, cruising Tango Golf 006, looking for 8,600, Tango Golf 030. Torque is good, NP is perfect, IDT is very stable, and the NG at 100%. Continue climbing. $8,700, continue climbing to 11,000 for Tango Golf 002. $9,400 for 11,000. We're about 2 miles from Tango Golf 002. Then we're gonna make a right turn to Tango Golf 003 for about 11 miles. Should have been at 11,000, so I was 500 feet below, but I'm almost there. Good. All right, continue to 13,200 to Tango Golf 003. Beautiful. 12,000 for 13,000. Alright, let's turn on the autopilot. Speed. Beautiful. So now we are going to Alpha. This is where we are on our departure. So we did at 3,800, we make a left, go over Tango Golf 007, continue to 006 and 7,000. 030 at 8,600, 002 at 11,000, but I was actually at 10,500, and then I made my turn and I went all the way up to 13,200 to Tango Golf 003. Now the autopilot is flying this portion of the departure to Alpha, and then we'll continue to Karak, and this is a section called Valle Arriba, and we're gonna join the rest of the route. There's an airport here called El Paraíso, Llanos del Tigre. Let's see, we might be able to see it maybe. Right, 13,000, landing lights are off. We can go ahead and turn the igniter off. Very good. All right, we can go ahead and climb to flight level 250. According to the departure instructions, we can go to kind of maintain flight level 250. Okay, so let's go back to 250. Very nice departure. Very nice. This is a typical summer weather in Central America. Very muggy, lots of moisture. Very, very interesting. Alright, always monitoring our temperatures. Oil pressure is good, oil temperature is very good. Attention all aircraft, QNH 1014. starts to rain. Well, this was expected. Outside temperature is 15. I'm just gonna go ahead and turn on the highest protection. Just in case. Alright, oil temperature is stabilizing again. It was a little hotter. I noticed it went a little hot because I like to keep the NG around 98, 97 on climb. It's doable. So we're going to maintain flight level 250 all the way to Percy, which is here. $23,000 for $25,000. Continue climbing. Alright, we've reached flight level 250 and let's do a cruise check. Alright, sprint torque around 40%, NP at 1600, IDT 740, NG 98%. Oil pressure is good. Oil temperature is also good. Electrical system is good. Right now we're burning about 371 pounds per hour, which is about 55 gallons an hour, and fuel pressure is good. We have 714 pounds on the left tank and 783 pounds on the right tank. So we're good. All the electrical system is excellent. Look at that. Huh. We're essentially between two layers. It's amazing. This is one of the, I would say, I'm not really sure, but I like this, you know, like general aviation turboprops airplanes that we fly, you know, the flight level 25, flight level 27, 23. We can see this, whereas other bigger airplanes, faster airplanes, they go to flight levels, you know, the 340s, 380s, 410, 43. I mean, they don't see this. They fly very high. We're 44 miles from Percy. Percy is actually the airway Alpha 552. So we are on that airway. Once we reach Percy, then we are going to climb to flight level 260 all the way to Punta Cabezas, and then we climb up to flight level 270. That will be our actual cruise altitude. So we can see on the radar there's a little bit of a activity there, but nothing to be concerned about. what we want here is to continue providing services to Central America, South America. WindDrift charter operations also cover, I believe, one route from Cancun to Miami. Cancun, Miami, I think it has. Definitely has Miami, Puerto Rico, San Juan. So slowly, gradually, we're trying to cover this part of the world and fly into not so popular airports. We're not looking for the JFKs or the LAX or the Chicago Hire. We just want to service smaller airports. Of course, we fly the Epic E1000. Not sure if we're gonna get a Pilatus PC-12. We're very happy with what we have right now, and we are working on the possibility of having our own logo painted in the aircraft to make it more fun. Again, our goal is to service, the private market, private charters to different regions. Last month we took a couple of coffee farmers, I would say, exporters from Colombia. It was very, very nice. Very nice people. Right, 12 miles from Percy. Then we're going to be climbing up to flight level 260. Definitely a lot of rain, huh? Looking at the weather at Toncontín, now is IFR. We departed VFR, now is IFR. Well, it was expected. Remember, we said that it was gonna get a little crazier later, and here we are. Alright, let's continue climbing to flight level 260. So we're going to continue flight level 260 all the way to Venice. then eventually we're gonna go to all the way to Puerto Cabezas. That's VOR there on 1129. Let's see if we can set that up. 112. Perfect. There it is. We have it. And Puerto Cabezas is a city on the Caribbean coast of Nicaragua. And its official name is Bilwi, right? But, you know, charts and pilots, we still refer to it as Puerto Cabezas. Then after Puerto Cabezas, we're going to be crossing into Panama FIR and continuing towards San Andrés. Quite exciting. Very nice. About 18 miles from Venice. It's funny because this is live, so I'm streaming live, and there is no one, and I'm here talking as if there was some people there. I just said hello there in the chat. It's okay. It's okay. All right, very nice. So we have our temperatures very stable. Torque is at 41. We have 1600 on the NP. ITT, the beautiful 722. The NG is 98.3. Our oil temperature is a very beautiful, stable 82 degrees. Now pressure is fine. Everything is on green. Everything in the green. Fuel is perfect. And we are 6 miles from Venice, going east, and then we're gonna eventually go to Puerto Cabezas and then going southeast to San Andrés. So, all right, let's talk about our destination, San Andres. It's very interesting, even geographically located. It's very interesting because if you take a look at at the map of Central America, right? Um, you're gonna see that um, that it is located closer to Nicaragua, Panama, right, than Colombia itself. So one can say that maybe this island should belong to Nicaragua, but it doesn't. It belongs to Colombia. So if you take a look at the map, right, let's see if I can look in charts, and you see in the charts, right, this is Nicaragua, and this is San Andres, that little island right there, and Colombia is right here. So very interesting, huh? Now, San Andres is one of the most beautiful islands in the Caribbean and has a fascinating history. It really does. It is part of the, what is it called? Providencia in Santa Catalina department. And it has about 60,000 people population. Yeah, it's about 120 miles east of Nicaragua and about 480 miles northwest of mainland Colombia. Now, because of its location, yeah, definitely, there has been a long-standing maritime dispute between Colombia and Nicaragua, although the island itself remains under Colombian administration. So it's a very nice destination. It's also known for the famous Sea of Seven Colors, because it has a like a different shades of blue and green that come from the coral reefs, the white sand, and the crystal clear tropical water. So it's very beautiful. You can do what if you go to San Andres, you can do scuba diving, that's for sure, snorkeling, sailing if you like that, or if you're just a beach person, you just go to the beach and enjoy the beach. It's a small island, but it's super relaxing. Now they speak. It's very interesting because although San Andres is Colombian, its culture is very unique, right? So many residents there are known as the Raizales. They speak Spanish, they speak English, and they speak San Andres Creole English. And the reason they speak Creole English is because the island has a strong British and Jamaican influences dating back to the 17th century. So I recommend visiting this island on your next vacation destination. Or you can call our offices and WindDrift, and you can chart one of our Epic E1000s and take your family. We can take your family there. If you are, of course, in the Central America area or even Colombia. We are not an airline, guys. We are not an airline. We're just a humble, small charter operation, and we enjoy that. Right, we're 50 miles from Puerto Cabezas, and then from there we're gonna climb to flight level 270. It's incredible the amount of rain that one can get. Look at this. Feels like we're not flying, we're like a submarine. We're immersed in water. All right, we're approaching Puerto Cabezas, and then, as I said, we are gonna go and fly southeast to Fala, and that's pretty much at the border of um, Panama FIR, and then we continue all the way down to Utnut to San Andrés. All right, San Andres Airport has a runway of 7,792, and most likely it is going to be VFR or maybe marginal VFR, so it's going to be a little wet. So we're going to use, if we land on runway 6, we have pretty much the entire runway because we got to go to the terminal, which is at the other end of the runway, runway 24. So we have a lot of runway. We're having a little bit of turbulence. Hopefully it gets better as soon as we start climbing up to flight level 270. All right, we are on the airway uniform Alpha 552, climbing to flight level 270 all the way to Fala, going southeast on, I would say, the final portion of our flight before we start descending into San Andrés. And we're gonna see if we can get the 80s to see if they're still using runway 06, and then we can do an approach to runway 06. All right, so let's review for a straight in runway 06 into San Andres. We're gonna do the nav VNAV category A and B pretty much the same. 173, that'll be our minimum. So I'm looking at, let's see, we can do the RNP runway 06. We can pick it up at Utnut, then Bogox, Agrax to runway 06. So the LNAV is 573. Is that what we have here? Yeah, 573 for the RNP category A and B. Okay. All right, this is what we're gonna do. We're planning for this one. Is the RNP to runway 06. So it's going to be an RNAV. Final approach course is going to be 063. And our final approach fix will be Agrex, and we should be crossing it at 1,650. Our minima decision today will be 573. Airport and runway elevation both are at 20. The note says for the RNP approach for uncompensated Paro VNAV systems, LNAV VNAV not authorized below 5 degrees Celsius or above 41, which is gonna be okay. Wow, we're having a lot of turbulence. But anyway, we're gonna pick it up at Utnut, which is gonna be our initial approach fix at 4,000. We're not gonna do a procedure turn, no procedure turn here. We're just gonna go to Bogox, which is also an initial fix. Crossing it at 3,000, continue to Acrux, and then to the runway. So Bogox 3,000, Acrux, we should be getting the glide path there at 6,000, 1,650. Continue with a 3-degree approach to runway 06. Perfect. Our MDA will be 3.3 miles from, should be at the MDA 3.3 miles before the runway. And our missed approach is essentially straight in on 063 to Mumam intersection, which is right here, right? About 16 miles from the runway, and hold there at 230 knots. So it's a pretty straightforward approach, and we're gonna plan for this. All right, so let's go ahead and set our procedure and select approach. Gonna do our nav 06, enter via Utnut, and it's 573. And we're gonna activate now. Perfect. So let's click on VNAV. And we should be descending to 4,000 soon. In about 15 minutes, we should start descending to 4,000. So we're gonna be using VNAV for this. Nice descent. We can start descending now. So right now the weather calls for information hotel. Arriving and departing runway 6. The wind is 060 at 9, visibility 10 miles. There are broken clouds at 2,500. Temperature 28, dew point 26. It's definitely going to be raining. QNH 1010, transition level is going to be 20,000. And expect arrival delays due to increased traffic volume. Advise initial contact. You have information hotel. Perfect. It's been a very, very bumpy flight, but it's okay. Everything is under control. We are 56 miles from Utnud. San Andrés approach, good afternoon. WindDrift 1402, flight level 160, descending 4000 for the Utnud approach into runway 06. Right, so we've been clear for the approach, so we continue descending to 4000. So we're going to join the approach via Utnud, and we are clear for the approach. right, 2983. It seems like the rain is pretty much tapering off. All right, 10,000. Go ahead and bring the igniter on. Right, we already briefed the approach, so we're landing via the RNAV runway 06. Let's bring the landing lights on. Airspeed below 250, check. Altimeter, check. Descent check is complete. Wow, it literally rained the whole trip. The whole time was raining. Or 7,500 for 4,000, 13 miles from Udnu. 5,000 for 4,000, 3 miles. Right, we are at Utnu at 4,000. So we're going to continue to Bogax, descending to 3,000. All right, before landing checklist, fuel selector auto switch is off, and select the right tank. Very good. Flaps takeoff before 180 knots will be check. Gear down below 150 knots, check. Flaps landing, which is full flaps, check. Before landing checklist complete. Right, let's contact tower. San Andrés Tower, good evening. WindDrift 1402 on the RNAP runway 06 approach. Okay, we've been cleared to land. Flaps 15. Hundred and 50 knots. Gear down. We are crossing Arpex, Acrex. $1,500. Flaps 40. $1,300 for 600. 1200 for 600. $1,000, my airplane. Continue. Landing.
400. 300. 200. 100.
Beautiful landing. Welcome to San Andrés, my friends. Beautiful. connecting GPU. Systems off. Very nice, friends. Welcome. Welcome to San Andrés. It was an amazing, amazing, rainy, very rainy route. Pretty much 90%, 95% of our flight was in the rain, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun. Why don't we just do our mandatory replay? Super, super nice, friends. Well, thank you so much for joining us today in the stream. It was really, really nice. And I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you so much again, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.